Tonight on Connecticut's news station, Election Day 2023.
It's a big day in Bridgeport.
We need to unite and take the verdict that was given to us, which vindicated our win.
From a ballot battle in Bridgeport to selecting someone new to run the capital city.
It's been an incredible privilege to do this work for the last 8 years.
Voters are heading to the polls to make sure their voices are heard.
Just jobs, but also like education and making sure that we actually create like programs where kids can be safe.
We're tracking all the top races across the state, and our live team coverage starts right now.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
It's Election Day, and tonight the eyes of the state and the country are squarely on Bridgeport. Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Voters there are heading to the polls, but this time their city has become a poster child for absentee ballot fraud. A judge ordered the results of the primary be thrown out after video evidence appeared to show that ballot fraud.
We have live team coverage in Bridgeport tonight. Fox 61's Jake Garcia is with the Joe Ganim campaign, and Matt Karen is covering John Gomes' camp for us, and we're going to send it first over to Matt.
Well, right now we are live here at the John Winthrop School, where they are currently voting behind me. This is one of the precincts, and I can describe the voter turnout here as pretty steady. I just checked the tabulator. As of a minute ago, 877 people have come here to cast their vote, and that's really no surprise considering that over the past couple of days, people like Elon Musk and former President Donald Trump have remarked about ballot fraud in Bridgeport. And as well, this has been made into a song. Bridgeport has. This after video evidence surfaced showing absentee ballot fraud in Bridgeport and a judge even ordering a new primary.
There's a few things to worry about. Voter turnout. When there's fraud, there's disenfranchisement, which can lead to voter apathy, a person feeling like their vote just doesn't matter. The campaigns have been trying to combat that, but it doesn't help that state election officials have not provided clarity on if this election will even matter or if a new primary will be held. To make matters worse, the state wasn't able to hire a permanent election monitor, so they had to appoint someone to fill the position temporarily, who's only been in the job for a week. Mayoral candidate John Gomes is urging his supporters to show up in person.
Many people have lost confidence in the AB process because of what has happened, and we're encouraging everyone to go out and vote in person so they can make sure that their vote counts the way it needs to be counted.
John Gomes is a Democrat, but he's running on the independent line. He's a small business owner, former Ganim aide, and his priorities are transparency, education, economic development, and public safety.
And after everything we just told you, let's also not forget that state lawmakers decided not to tackle the issue of election security in a special session, despite Republicans in the legislature calling for them to do so. So really, nothing has changed about the absentee ballot system. We will be closely watching the absentee ballot tally as it comes in, and it usually is counted last. We're live here in Bridgeport at the John Winthrop School. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, tensions ever since have been running high in Bridgeport. Jake Garcia continues our team coverage with how the current mayor is feeling tonight. Jake.
Well, Sarah, Mayor Ganim is hoping to secure a victory tonight after that unprecedented ruling by a state judge calling for another primary. Mayor Ganim calling the uncertainty of what happens after election night noise. Now, Mayor Ganim's message leading up to election night has been get out and vote, and he echoed that sentiment again today. This morning, Mayor Ganim cast his ballot at Black Rock School with the message that the people's vote matter. It comes at a time as many in the city question whether that is true, especially following the events over the past few months.
With so many people voting by mail, that we have supervised ballots, that we have all people in place, we shouldn't spare a dollar on a local or state level, even a national level. In every respect, this is the most important fundamental aspect of our democracy. I stand with it, of course, for fair elections. Every vote counts.
Mayor Joe Ganim is running on the platform of Bridgeport's progress since he became mayor, running on fiscal responsibilities, improved quality of life, and the economic development of the city. Of course, if Ganim wins tonight, it's likely there will be another primary unless the state Supreme Court overturns that judge's ruling. Now, several people have been lining up, like here at City Hall, monitoring to make sure everything runs smoothly. Of course, we'll be at Joe Ganim's watch party for the news at 10 and 11 with details following the polls closing and the results. We're live in Bridgeport. Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jake, thank you. Voters in the capital city are choosing their next mayor tonight. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst has been following the Hartford mayor's race, and she joins us now live in Hartford. And Emma, I know you caught up with the front runner in this race today.
Yes, Brent, I spoke with Democratic nominee Arunan Arulampalam actually here earlier today at this polling place in Southwest Hartford. He tells me he's feeling very confident today and he's hoping for a good night for his campaign. Arulampalam won the Democratic nomination back in September, beating former Superior Court Judge Eric Coleman and State Senator John Fonfara. Coleman is still running in this race as a write-in candidate. The other names joining Arulampalam actually on the ballot today, Michael McGarry, who, if he won, would be Hartford's first Republican mayor in more than 50 years, and petitioning candidates, City Councilman Nick LeBron, J. Stan McCauley, and Giselle Jacobs.
My theory of the case from the beginning is that if we could run a campaign that was positive, that was forward-thinking, if we could talk about the vision and the future of the city instead of focusing on the division and the things that draw us apart as a city, that voters would resonate with that. And I think what I've heard so far from people today, it really is working and it's turning up, and people are coming out to vote for Row A.
Arulampalam is endorsed by current Mayor Luke Bronin, as well as Governor Ned Lamont, Senator Richard Blumenthal, and other Democratic state leaders. State Comptroller Sean Scanlon actually joining Arulampalam at this polling place here earlier today. Now, Secretary of the State's office put out some unofficial polling numbers as of about noon that showed voter turnout around 12% across the state, but there haven't been any unofficial numbers reported specifically for Hartford just yet. Now, polls are still open until 8 p.m., so if you haven't gotten a chance to come out and cast your ballot, there is definitely still time. Reporting live in Hartford, Emma Wolfhorst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Emma, thank you. Well, from crime to jobs to homelessness, Hartford residents spoke their minds today in the voting booth and afterward.
Fox 61's Jim Altman talked to a number of voters today. He joins us live at the Pope Park precinct in Hartford with more.
And Brent and Sarah, we've been around the capital city today to a number of polling places. It's been pretty quiet. It picked up a bit around the 5 o'clock hour when people got out of work, but pretty quiet again now here at Pope Park. This is actually a dual precinct. It is precinct 11 and precinct 12. There are a couple of voters out. There's a lot of staff here, more staff here right now than actual voters. So quiet now, but here in Hartford, the votes, they are coming in, and the voices, they are certainly getting out. Casting ballots across the capital city. Now in voters' hands, the future of Hartford.
Just jobs, but also like education and making sure like we like programs where kids can be safe.
I would say public safety, because everyone should be able to go out in their neighborhood whenever they feel like it.
What's the pulse at various polling places? These are just some issues on residents' minds as their voices get heard. For Chastity Ortiz, it comes down to crime.
Most important to me is gun violence. The violence here in Hartford has to end.
My issue is jobs and homelessness, people getting help for homes. It's a big thing in Hartford right now.
I believe education is the biggest thing. There's just a lot of things that we are unaware of as Hartford residents that are going on that I think we should be more aware of, and also just training, getting the word out there. So just education, finance, and crime.
On a statewide scale, the Connecticut Secretary of State, Stephanie Thomas, says no major issues coming in yet.
We've had a couple of calls into the hotline, but happily all the issues were easily resolved. We have had a couple of tabulators go down, but the backups are in place.
She's continuing her efforts to help voters come out.
on average, we only get about 35% in these elections, so I hope we can do much better this year and not just wait for a presidential election.
And in the shadow of the Capitol, outside Hartford's precincts, there is some hope for what's on the horizon.
There are major issues in the city, and we just want somebody who's able to actually make sure those things are taken care of.
Whoever wins today, it's going to have a very good future because everyone has really good ideas and really good plan to fix up Hartford and make it the next big city. Because we are the capital city, so it should be the best.
And one more reminder from us here at Pope Park. The polls all across the state, all 169 towns, they close at 8 o'clock tonight, so you still have time to have your voice heard. We're live tonight in Hartford. Jim Altman, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jim, thank you. And to get our comprehensive voter guide with everything you need to know, text the word VOTE to 860-527-6161. You can also find the voter guide along with all of our coverage on the free Fox 61 News app and on our website, fox61.com.
It was a bit of a gloomy start to our election day. A little rainy out there, too, but the sun did eventually come out. People were enjoying those mild temperatures in Rocky Hill this afternoon.
Yeah, so what can we expect for the rest of the night? Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with the word on that. Rach?
Yeah, temperatures are going to be crashing back down. But regarding getting out to the polls, the only issue that I see here on the map is an isolated shower as a cold front comes through. Most of the state will stay dry from here on out. But again, I can't rule this out for some, especially here in New London County, where we're seeing those showers continue to push through, and the winds will pick up as well as that cooler air starts moving in. Colchester, Lebanon, Sprague getting some of that rain right now. If you're in Salem, Norwich, Montville, New London, you can expect rain to move into your area over the next half an hour to hour or so. You'll see it's passing into Griswold here shortly, or already raining in part of town. And again, this is associated with that cooler push that you're really going to notice tomorrow. Today, temperatures were above average, tomorrow below average, and about 20 degrees colder than today. It's 60 though, so still comfortable in the Hartford area, close to 60 for New Haven too. By the news at 11, temperatures are dropping back into the upper 40s, and we're in the 30s as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. So a chilly start. Otherwise, we're talking about plenty of sunshine, breezy, cooler afternoon with highs in the mid to upper 40s, and then increasing clouds tomorrow night. Most of the state getting some rain, but there could be a wintry mix in spots to start. We'll talk about it coming up.
Rachel, thank you. A Colchester man faces charges tonight for allegedly threatening a woman with a racial slur. Police say a woman was walking past Joseph Serwill's residence when he came out of his home with an axe. Serwill allegedly told the woman to get off his property using profanity and a racial slur and pushed the axe toward her. The woman told police she feared for her safety and that she was not on his property during the incident. Police say while taking Serwill into custody, he was uncooperative and threatened to bomb and kill troopers. He's being held on $100,000 bond.
A second suspect in a deadly double shooting in Hartford is in custody in Pennsylvania. Elixir Orta is awaiting extradition back to Connecticut. He'll be charged in connection to the shooting deaths of 17-year-old Alondra Martinez and 25-year-old Joseph Mercado. They were shot at an apartment on Maple Ave back in July. They later died. Carlos Nieves was previously charged for his involvement in the incident. Police believe the shootings happened as part of an attempted robbery.